operations with alternative solutions. Today we have Johnny Waddell, who is one of our lead Salesforce developers presenting for us. Johnny has 2 Twilio certifications, and he'll be sharing some of his Twilio Flex knowledge and walking you through a quick demo of the product. We'd love to hear your questions, so please put those in the comment box below. Michelle Pernello and Johnny will both be working to get those answered during and at the end of the presentation. Michelle is our Director of Client Services, so she will help out with that. But if you have any questions, please put them in the comment box, and Johnny, I will turn it over to you.
As said before, my name is Johnny Waddell. I'm the lead developer for Alternative Solutions. And in this Lunch and Learn, we're going to be discussing the amazingly powerful, versatile, and easy to implement call center solution that is Twilio Flex. Now, we're going to be covering a lot today in a very short period of time. So if I go too fast, please note that this video will be available via download by contacting Jeff Bryan. So today, we will be covering some Twilio Flex use cases. We're going to be talking about the hosting options for Twilio Flex, Flex UI and customization. Also going to be looking at the web chat, SSO support, the integrations and plugins, and the task router. So let's talk more about what Twilio Flex is. Twilio Flex represents the future of omni-channel cloud-based contact center platforms. Twilio Flex harnesses the latest in digital communication technology, has features like interactive voice response, task and skill routing, CRM connections, status callbacks, analytics. It supports voice calls, supports text, and supports SMS web chat as well. And it can also help unify all of your communication channels into one easy-to-use interface that also interacts with your CRM on that very same space. You can use Authy, which is a built-in to further secure sensitive transactions if you're in banking or healthcare. We can also look at integration of emails, use Task Router to set up workspaces for various teams. We can use Notify to set up and send notifications via iOS, Android, SMS, Facebook. And the basic implementation of Flex with no customization at all is a pretty straightforward process, but I know of very few companies out there that are going to require zero customization. So in the case that you want to customize the UI, you need to connect to CRM, you need to integrate complex features, you're going to need at least some knowledge of Twilio functions. You're also going to need to understand how to use React, JavaScript, which is the language you'll need for that, and Node along with Node Package Manager. Now, it's via these methods that we can apply a nearly limitless set of customizations to make Twilio Flex fit your company's needs. And you'll also be able to understand how to create, or you're going to need to understand how to create authentication certificates and how to integrate them with your CRM to make all that happen. Now, obviously, we lean a little more towards Salesforce, but this will work with pretty much any system out there. Twilio Flex does all of the heavy lifting, and the product is extremely versatile. So in fact, Twilio Flex can be augmented via plugin to do just about anything your organization requires. So let's talk a little bit more about that. Let's talk about the use cases for Twilio Flex. So obviously we all know about inbound and outbound call centers being one of the primaries for Twilio, but it's also really effective for your marketing because of the built-in analytics. It helps out with customer engagement. Again, you can organize all of your notifications and SMS messaging. Helps out with emergency dispatch and response. You know, you can use skills routing to help out with that. You can also use it for digital banking. We can use it for customer support. As I said, skill routing for technicians who are out in the field doing work orders. We can do opportunity funneling. We can do food, event, hotel reservations, sales, obviously, subscriptions, donations, obviously lending to nonprofits. Identity verification we can do via SMS. We can do digital enterprise mobility. We can do alert subscriptions, or if somebody wants to unsubscribe, that can also be handled via the platform with built-ins. We have financial transactions that can be handled, and obviously we could apply those to education and elections as well. So now that we know a little bit more about how Flex can be utilized and for what purposes, let's talk about the hosting options. It's extremely versatile. So Twilio Flex can be hosted on the Twilio Cloud Network, which is the preferred hosting method. It works really well, very fast no matter where you are, and is just really easy to use for your end user. You can also self-host it on your own infrastructure, which is always nice if you've got a solid platform that you want to just bring in Twilio and utilize. Or we can put it on another cloud platform for you. Again, we can host it on Salesforce for you, but if you have another like Amazon Web Service or something like that, we could also make it happen there. So out of the box, Twilio Flex has everything you need pretty much to get your call center up and running. And we'll even let you select between some generalized color schemes and help match the platform to your business needs. But when more customization is needed, like we need to add a logo or customize the user interface colors, edit messaging on the screen, or of course connect our CRM, you can actually build React-based packages to customize pretty much every feature that you see, which leads us to our demo today. So right now, the out-of-the-box solution for Twilio Flex, seen here in the dark blue color scheme, which is my personal favorite of the out-of-box schemes, it's functionally ready to start making calls, but we're going to need to make a few changes before we send it off to users. And that's going to lead us today to our live demo. So this is what we would like our screen to look like for most of our end users. Now today we will be incorporating our website, which has a chat now box and a few other functionalities in there, but of course we can also integrate Salesforce, we can integrate another CRM platform and drop your task creation right in there, record creation, really whatever you want as far as a display for your users. But again, once again, we'll be using just this for the live demo today to protect data that might be in the box. So now that we've seen a snapshot of what we want to do, we are going to go ahead and move over. Now I do want to show you, so there's three ways. You can use the Twilio CLI to integrate Twilio itself into Salesforce, for example. We can also use the Twilio Flex platform to integrate easily into, say, a utility bar. So I'm going to show you that right now. As you can see here, I've created a demo case. And right down here, so once I set up the integration between Twilio Flex and our Salesforce CRM system, I'm actually able to bring Twilio Flex right here into the utility bar. And so I can work easily within the CRM if that is my preferred. So if we want to lean heavier into Salesforce, we can just throw it right here in the utility bar. You can handle any action you want, make calls, send messages to customer, do admin work. It works exactly the same way that your Twilio Flex screen is going to work. So that's another way that we can bring this in. But there's also, of course, the other way where we bring it into Twilio Flex and then we display our CRM. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we're going to do that. Okay, so now that we have that, so we're going to go ahead. So what I did is once I had Node Package Manager installed and of course was able to bring all of this in, I went ahead and just created a project using the Twilio Flex CLI, and that did a lot of the heavy lifting for me. And right here you can see I've got the main files that you're going to be concerned with pulled up here. So once we run the create flex plugin command in the command line with Node, everything you need is installed in the project directory. Please note that the projects do have dependencies which must be downloaded ahead of time, but that process is very well documented on the Twilio website. So if you need to get your system up and running, there is information on how to do that piece. I've also want to show you that, so the React properties, or props as they're called, is how you're going to access most of these pieces. And your plugin scheme, your plugin in your scheme could be something unique, but for the purposes of familiarity, I went ahead and just used the sample flex plugin. Now, normally you would copy like another name over and kind of just use this as your general guideline, but for ease of understanding, I went ahead and just left this information in here and left some placeholders in the code so that it would be easier to follow along. Now, once we have created that, we're going to go ahead and create a theme.js file. Now, in this case, I've named it ASC, Alternative Solutions Consulting, theme.js. And inside of there, we're going to go ahead and be able to set pretty much any UI piece in Twilio Flex. We can assign specific colors to match our branding. We can also override certain pieces of the UI. You can see here I've overridden the main header colors, the button colors, as well as the side navigation colors. So that's going to be one of your big pieces there. And the Sample Flex plugin is kind of where all the magic happens. So most of this is going to be set up for us originally, but we're going to want to put some pieces in here. So I've added some sorting options, and I've also made a call to the panel so that we can drop in our logo. Now you can see here that I've actually stored our SVG logo right within the Twilio asset and make sure that it can access it no problem. Now right here where you see the Flex CRM container, that's where we would put in the link to our CRM once it is authorized and validated through authentication. Again, once for this case, I have put our website here instead, but it would not make any difference. You would just put the end link right here for your CRM. So those are the main files that we're looking for to make changes to. And what we'll do now is we want to go ahead and we would run, now this supports, so this is going to support local beforehand, and you're going to need to make a change to the packages file in order to point this into the right direction. Now, I've already made that change ahead of time to save us some time, so it will not display our CRM in this very first one. But as you can see, it is displaying all of the colors that we're looking for and allows us to see, well, really this is just going to be the colors because I've already changed out the logo piece too. So we'll show that part here in just a second. But you can see that I am indeed available. So this is linked up to the actual live Twilio Flex, which we can see right here does not have our new package applied just yet. So now that we know that our colors are good and I know that my code is good, I've already made the package ahead of time, and it is super easy to implement that. Once you've got your developer having coded the package, all we have to do is just go in here and we're going to add a new asset. Now for me, that is going to be right here. So we've got our plugin sample, and we are just going to drop it right in here. It's going to tell us, ask us if we want to make sure that we're dropping that in there. We do. Do we want to make it private? In this case, we do not. So we are going to go ahead and upload that. Now, don't panic if it takes about 15 to 20 seconds for that to reflect in the actual Twilio Flex. So we'll give it a couple of seconds here, and then we'll go ahead and hit refresh, and there we are. So we now have our UI customized. We have our logo just like we wanted right here. We also have our website just like we wanted here, and of course can utilize the functionalities on the page. So if we wanted to use the dialer, that is built in up here. And what I would like to demo for you. So once again, you can see that I am active here, but we do have other folks who are inactive. And if I wanted to manage them, if we were working with different workspaces or queues, I could do that from here. I can also see what calls they might be on, additional tasks that they have. It will allow you to set up taking multiple tasks in certain cases. So what we'll do to do that is we will actually go ahead and go to our main page here. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to launch a web chat just to kind of show you this feature. That's one of my personal favorite features. So right out of the box, we were able to use this, and right now we're just doing a quick demo. Our bot answers, of course, as soon as things come up, and we can go ahead and send a customer message. And you will see if we go back to our main page here, you'll see that I have an incoming chat request from the customer. So I'm going to go ahead and accept that, and it's going to give me that chat box here. Now, if we were doing a call instead, we would receive the call box there. It's the same piece there. Now, let's say I didn't want to take that call. Now I could go ahead and go and try to make a change here. So if I wasn't able to take that, I could redirect it to say Jeff Bryan if he was online and send that to him. But since he is not, I'm going to go ahead and answer this. And we would just keep on going there. Now, this will go on and until everything is finished. And if you want, you can actually automate this flow process to ask a few questions ahead of time before you actually get someone on the line with them. Now, when we are done with this, we can go ahead and just hit the end chat. We complete it, and that will go ahead and complete the call and or message, and we'll go ahead and trigger any after updates you might have, any update statuses, things like that. So that's going to be most of this piece of the puzzle. Now, there is also the integrations and plugins piece. So with integrations and plugins, it gets a little bit interesting because you have so much functionality that comes right out of the box with a lot of these pieces. And once you've customized Twilio Flex, you can bring in pieces like speech to text, spam blocking. You can integrate platforms using the TaskRouter API. I mean, the component-centric nature of Twilio just makes it a cakewalk for developers who know what they're doing to build around and to make it match your system exactly. And there's so much more that we can go over with Twilio Flex, but I'm going to go ahead and leave some time here for questions. Welcome any that you might have. I will do my best to answer them. So go right ahead.
Johnny, could you expand a little bit on the skills and possibly maybe the queue routing?
Yeah, so we don't have a ton of I guess, information in here, but I can absolutely touch on it. So what you would want to do is you'd want to go into your task router, and we have workspaces that we set up down here to do flex task assignments. Now let's say that we have a 3 or 4 different platforms that we're helping out with, and we need to make sure that the person's call is getting to the right department. So let's say we have an IT department, a sales department, we've got a marketing department. We can set those up with both with TaskRouter, and we can also set those up with skill-based routing so that we can make sure that the call always gets where it needs to be. And the nifty thing is that an individual can have multiple skill sets. And so let's say that no one from marketing is online, but sales has folks online, and a couple of the folks in sales have the skill that we're looking for. We can actually intelligently tell the system to direct those calls or tasks, in this case, to that person so that it's still fielded. So the amount of complexity that we can add here is relatively unlimited, and there is a lot of cross viability between the workspaces themselves. And each one of these, you'll see, and they're all listed in this engagement cloud here, but each one of these pieces within the Twilio console has very, very powerful options within it that are built in. But they are, in my opinion, they are nothing without the effective Twilio functions and, of course, the effective routing on the other side of the CRM, which is going to involve having a developer to get the full functionality out of it. But there is a lot. There is a lot you can do with this, and it is made to manage at scale. So no matter how many workspaces you need, how many different skill queues you have, it's really not an issue for Twilio Flex. Anybody have any other questions? Feel free to enter them in the group chat on Zoom. Just open the chat window. We had a couple folks already chime in there. just as another note too, all of these pieces here were pieces that we actually uploaded. This is the plugin Salesforce integration. That's one of the dependencies I was talking about earlier that you'll need. And you'll also need your configuration file, in this case for Salesforce. These other two were just logos that I uploaded. And then of course our plugin. All right, doesn't look like we have any other questions. I'll give it here just a couple more seconds. All right. So we do have another upcoming stay-at-home series. Next week, I will be doing Salesforce packages, teaching everybody about both managed and unmanaged packages, their use cases, and the differences between the two. We'll also be guiding you through the installation and usage of one of each of those. So very excited about that. If you do think of additional questions after this, please feel free to contact Jeff Bryan. His information is right here. And we will do our best to get back to you. Of course, also, if you need any customization, you'd like to implement Twilio Flex or expand upon your current implementation, please reach out to us or give us a call. Anyone else have anything? Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone's time, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
All right, thanks, Johnny, and thanks everyone for attending. I still see there's several people here. I want to make sure I just see a lot of thank yous, and we really do appreciate everyone joining. And look forward to next week. So if there aren't any other questions, we'll just go ahead and end this a bit early today. Give you a couple minutes back to your day. Thanks again, everyone.